Have you ever wondered how much money you actually need in order to be considered wealthy in Australia? Well, in today's video, we are going to answer that question. Today, I'm going to show you how much you actually need to have in different areas in order to be considered wealthy, including things like income, property, superannuation, and total net worth. And we'll also be diving into strategies that the wealthy actually use in order to get rich. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Queenie, and I'm actually licensed to give general financial advice. Keep in mind that while I am licensed, any information provided is general in nature and doesn't constitute personal financial advice. You can read my full financial services guide in the description. This video is sponsored by Perla, but we'll talk more about them later in this video. So grab a drink of your choice. Today I'm drinking hibiscus flower tea because it's the afternoon and there's no caffeine in it. And let's dive into the video. So how much money do you need to make in order to be considered a high earner? A lot of people thinking that earning more money will automatically make them more rich, but it's not always the case. While I do agree with the principle that you can only save so much money, and after you've cut out all of your unnecessary expenses, the next step is to actually look at ways that you can start increasing your income if you do want to build wealth. But if you don't have the right principles in place to manage your cash flow when you do start earning more money, then earning more money won't necessarily make you more rich. Imagine you have a bucket, but it has a hole in it. It doesn't matter how much water or money you pour into that bucket, if it has a hole in it, the water and money will just keep on leaking out of it. And that's why it's really important to make sure you do plug that hole and stop your money or water from leaking out of your bucket. I actually have a friend who works in finance and is making an amazing amount of money for his age, but I was really surprised to find out that he wasn't investing any of his money. But I have another friend who doesn't make that much money, but she has a really decent net worth because she regularly invests her money. So keep in mind that your income is only part of the picture. So here's exactly how much money you'd need to earn in order to be considered a high earner in Australia. To be in the median of all taxpayers, you'd need to earn $55,619. Keep in mind that the median number is actually a bit more accurate than looking at the average number because the average is generally skewed by people making a lot of money, whereas the median is actually picking the person straight in the middle. So let's say, for example, you line 5 people up and they earn $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, and $500,000. The average income of those 5 people is $144,000. But the median income would be $60,000 because it is the middle person out of all of those numbers. And generally the median number is a bit more realistic when you're looking at this type of data. To be in the top 50% of taxpayers when it comes to annual income, you'd need to make $76,264. To be in the top 20%, you'd need $104,968, and the top 10% would be $143,628. For the top 5%, you'd need $198,178, and to be in the top 1%, you'd need $375,378. Keep in mind that when I do read out these numbers, it's looking at all taxpayers. Whether it's someone in their 20s or in their 50s, all of these numbers are lumped together. So because it does take into account everyone, there might be a huge gap, especially if you're only just starting your career. Or maybe you're starting your career again from scratch. So now let's look at superannuation and property. When you look at the data, most Australians' wealth sits in superannuation and property, which is great because these two assets tend to grow in value over time. But if you'd like to build more wealth over your lifetime, it might be a good idea to look at other assets that you could diversify into. So for individuals aged 25 to 40, the median super balance is $25,000. The top 20% have $62,000, the top 5% have $158,000, and the top 1% have $293,000. For people between the ages of 41 to 64, the median super balance is $90,000. The top 25% have $215,000, the top 5% have $626,000, and the top 1% have $1.398 million. And for retirees, we don't have a median super balance, but the top 25% have $149,000, the top 5% have $839,000, and the top 1% have $1.955 million. So you can really see, thanks to compound interest, the more money you have in your super can really compound and grow over time. And now let's look at property. For households and individuals from 25 to 40, the median actually has $0 in home equity. That's because most people are still renting renting or saving for a home deposit, and because of the insane housing crisis that we're currently going through in Australia. So if you are renting or still saving for your house deposit, just know that so many other people are also in the same boat. And if I can do it, you can do it, and I totally believe in you. We can also see that the average home equity is $140,000 for people aged 25 to 40, and we can see that the average home equity is a lot higher than the median, and that's because there are some people that have a lot of home equity that skew the average. By the ages of 41 to 64, the median home equity jumps up to $325,000, and then for retirees it jumps up again to $450,000. So if building wealth throughout your lifetime is something that you really want to do, property can definitely get you there. But keep in mind there are other ways that you can invest too. So here's how the rich actually get rich and how you can too. I've just refilled my tea, so let's jump into it. Warren Buffett, one of the richest people in the world, famously said, "If you don't find a way to make money in your sleep, then you'll work until you die." The wealthy know that it's really important to start building passive streams of income, and especially through investing. The wealthy own property, stocks, businesses, and all of these things quietly compound over time. Even if they start out as really small investments, the wealthy learn and they build on these skills, and then they know how to scale it and grow it. For most people, the easiest way to start investing is by investing in ETFs. An ETF is essentially a basket of different stocks in one investment. So instead of just betting on one company to do well, let's say for example Apple stock, you get to buy a basket of different companies in the one investment. So even if one of the investments does poorly, it doesn't really matter because you have heaps of other investments in there that would balance it out. Some of my favorite ETF combos are VAS and VGS. VAS is the Vanguard Australian Shares ETF, and it invests in the top 300 companies on the Australian Stock Exchange. This complements really well with an ETF like VGS, which is the Vanguard International Shares ETF. And this ETF invests in 1,300 global companies excluding Australia. If you prefer ethical investing, there's FAIR and VESG. FAIR is similar to VAS but with an ethical focus, and VESG is similar to VGS, but it also has an ethical focus. Another ETF combo is VTS, VEU, and VAS, and this trio captures the US stock market, the rest of the world, and Australia. Keep in mind that you probably will change your mind between what you want to invest in through your investing journey, and this is totally normal. I have so many different ETFs and things in my investments, and that's because the way that I invest has really changed over time, and that's totally okay. By the way, the platform that I personally use to invest in ETFs and stocks is called Pearler. It's really simple to invest in ETFs and stocks, and the thing that I love about it the most is it actually has this really cool automated investing feature. So I personally use it to automatically invest 20% of my pay. And I'll show you just how easy it is to buy a stock or an ETF. So I simply go here, buy. I can put in how much I would like to invest, for example, $1,000, and then I simply click on next and then confirm. Don't forget you can use my code Queenie for a $20 credit. So now let's get into the really juicy part and the reason why you clicked on this video. Let's get into total net worth. This number includes everything that you own minus what you owe. For example, things that you own are assets like your home, your super, any shares that you have, cash, and potentially your car, minus anything that you owe. For example, your home loan, if you have any credit cards or any car loans or any personal debt. And this is probably one of the clearest measure of someone's finances. So for total households between the ages of 25 to 40, the median net worth is around $238,000. But keep in mind there's a massive gap between the ages of 25 to 40. Then for ages 41 to 64, it rises to $809,000. And for those 65 and older, it's around $817,000. So if you're between the ages of 25 to 40 as a household or individual, to be in the top 50%, you'd need $448,000 as a household or $261,000 as an individual. To be in the top 25%, you'd need to have $554,000 as a household or $322,000 as an individual. To be in the top 5%, you'd need $1.558 million as a household or $822,000 as an individual. And to be in the top 1%, you'd need $3.091 million as a household, or $1.686 million as an individual. So keep in mind there's a huge difference between someone who's 25 and someone who's 40. And maybe you're only just beginning your finance journey now, and it takes a lot of time and many years for your wealth to start compounding. So keep in mind, it's not about where you're starting from, it's your trajectory. And if you'd like to see any other age groups, you can check out this PDF. So here are some practical steps to help you level up your net worth. The first step, in my opinion, is to actually track your net worth. See where you're actually starting from. I personally track my net worth every single month. And since I started doing this in 2019, it's grown a lot over the years. I think there's a famous quote that says, "What gets measured gets managed." And I think it's really important to start tracking your net worth to actually start to find ways that you can level up in your own journey. And just remember, it doesn't matter where you're starting from, it's the trajectory. And if you would like to download my own net worth tracker, you can check out the link in my description below. This is the one that I use every single month to track my net worth, and it's completely free. The next step is to start tracking your money and to actually start seeing where your money goes. So then you can identify if there are ways that you can cut unnecessary expenses out of your budget, or if potentially you need to start increasing your income, either by getting a pay rise or maybe by bringing in other sources of income. Once you know where your money is going and you know that there is some money that you can set aside to your investments, I think it's a good idea to set up automated investments. You can start small, maybe setting aside, say, 5% of your pay each month, and then only invest, say, once your balance reaches $1,000. And then if you'd like, you can always increase it from there. And then the final step is to just keep on repeating these steps and to keep on analyzing where your money goes, keep on checking in with your net worth just to make sure that it's moving in the right direction, and away you go. I really believe in you. Thanks so much for watching this video all the way through. Your secret word or secret words, level up. So write level up in the comments so we know you watched this video all the way through. Thank you. Bye.